Hello again, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink, and I'm here to share with you today a simple Z-fold card that I created using some new products that are in the brand new Stampin' Up! Catalog that just released yesterday. And this particular stamp set and bundle, you can get it as a bundle at 10% off, is found on page 13. It's got a great sunflower set, or stamped, and some great images. And I'll show you the actual stamp here. So it's the stamp set, and you can get it as a bundle with the framelits. It's a great, wonderful stamp set. In fact, I think that the framelits really set it off. I'm not going to use a lot of them today, but I am going to use some. All of these measurements I will have posted on my Stampin' Up! Blog at justalittleink.com, and so you can check them all out there if you happen to miss them here. You need one piece of cardstock. This is the new Bumblebee in color cardstock, measured 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and it is scored at 5 1/2 inches, and then at 2 3/4. Actually, I do it in the reverse. I score it 2 3/4 and then 5 1/2. Otherwise, you'd have to figure out what those other measurements are. You also need a piece of Misty Moonlight, which is a new in color, and it's measured at 2 7/8 inches by 4 1/8 inches. And then you need some pieces of Whisper White cardstock. You need one that is measured at 3 1/2 inches by 4 3/4 inches, and another that's 2 3/4 inches by 4 inches. You need a piece of scrap as well, and I happen to have applied on the back of mine some of the adhesive sheet just to make things easier to assemble. You'll notice that as we put this card together. And finally, you want a piece of Designer Series paper. Oh my goodness, and I didn't keep which it is. It is a coordinating piece. Oh my, I have to go look really quickly here. It's on page, I think it's on page 14, but let me verify here. Page 11. It is the Flowers for Every Season Designer Series paper, and it comes in a 6x6 pack of Designer Series paper, and you notice that one side's very bright and some of the others are more subtle and more just prints. So anyway, you will need all of those items to make this card. And so let's begin. I'm going to set some things out of the way. I'm also using my Stamparatus just because I find it's the easiest to stamp with, especially when I want something in just the right place. So I'm first going to fold my card in half, which if you choose not to score, this is always an option. I'm score it and fold it in half, and then I'm going to fold this front piece back. And that kind of makes this Z fold. Okay. And then I've got my piece that is 2 3/4 by 4 inches, and I'm going to use my Stamparatus. I have an extra little piece in here that Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell, but I find it keeps things out of that hinge. And as it is, it's still a little challenging at times. I've already set up my Let's Celebrate You stamp so that it lines up at the top right. So I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight. All I have is the Stampin' Spot that happened to have come in my paper pumpkin kit this last month, which I'm thrilled for. I've got ink pads coming soon. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around. I'm going to press. See how well I did. Too bad, other than I've got a little ink here. The wonderful thing about this is if I want to try, I've got two sides. Now, if you've ever messed up on one side, but you've got the option to stamp on the other. So let's try that again. I'm going to get out my quarter piece of sponge here to clean. I cut mine in 4 pieces, and I keep it in a Ziploc baggie. So let's try that again. Let's see if I can keep from inking up the edge. but we'll try. Sometimes you want to be a little more careful when you ink it. There we go. So let's try this one more time. Let's see if we get a better image this time. And since I'm layering it on top of another piece of cardstock, you won't know. Not too bad. I need to come down again just a little more on this corner. Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to slide that out, and I'll put my Stamparatus out of the way. And then I can layer it onto my piece of Misty Moonlight. And I'm using some old adhesive. We have new adhesive coming, Stampin' Seal, and I have it in my order I placed yesterday, but it is not here yet. So to be honest, right now you have to use about anything you've got. Okay, line it up so that it layers it. Now I can set that out of the way. Then I told you I've got a piece that's a scrap, and I'm going to stamp both the sunflower image and the extra little leaves using my Memento ink. Memento ink has been not orderable just yet. We've had some supply issues, but keep trying. It's going to be available here before long. So I'm going to stamp because I want to use my Stampin' Blends. So I'm going to set that out of the way, and then I want to also stamp those extra leaves. And I'm not going to stamp or color in all of these, but I want to show you kind of how I did this. I used my brush end, and I'm using the dark Daffodil Delight because, once again, I do not have my new Stampin' Blends. They've got majority of the new in colors are coming in Stampin' Blends, but they're not here yet because I just ordered them yesterday. So I used the dark, and then I'm going to come back on the tips, color in with my light. If you use the brush tip, you get a lot more coverage because it covers a lot more space. Okay. And then I found that it was best if I'd go back with the bullet end and kind of bring in that dark color again. It gives a close proximity toward Bumblebee. Then for my center, I used the light soft suede, and I came across in the center in those extra dot areas. You see how quickly this colors. And I kind of came in the center, but I left this other area that's white, this white ring. And I came in with my ivory color, which normally you'd use on skin. But I found it gave a very similar color to the spiced or the cinnamon cider new in color. Kind of gives just a different color here. And I just kept going over the center to kind of blend. And you can always come back, which is one of the nice things about Stampin' Blends. If you wanted to pick up color again, you can just keep blending. So that's how I did my center. And then for the leaves, I used the light shaded spruce because it has a similar tone to Just Jade, which is another one of our in colors. And those are all, the in colors are all the colors used in this particular suite. Then I used my light mint macaron, and I came in along the edges, and then I blended back into that shaded spruce. And I found it gave me a very similar coloring. So I'm not going to color everything on here because you can see how that all looks. As they say, by the magic of television, if I can find where I put my extras, that always is the challenge, isn't it? I set them aside somewhere. Oh, here they are. I've already done them, and I have already cut them out using both this die and this one. So I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to go ahead and attach my piece of Designer Series paper onto the front flap of my card. So I just need to line it up. It's just a little smaller than this front flap. It's been rainy here this morning and this afternoon. In fact, we had some major storms come through. So I told you I had put this onto a piece of adhesive sheet. And so all I have to do is peel that off. And this part is all sticky. And the advantage that gives me is that I can take my extra leaves and kind of line them underneath, and it's already going to grip. I'm going to do the same thing over here. You know how quick and simple that is. And then all I have to do is take that extra piece off my leaves. And then this is going to go down flat. And it's just a matter of deciding about what direction you want it to go, how far over you want it. That attaches nicely. And then to attach it to the front, we're going to do this in just a second. I'm going to figure out what center is. It's about here. What I've done is then I often will take my finger where this fold is, so I kind of have an idea of where that's at. And then I can put my adhesive on the back side without it overlapping. And then I'm going to again figure out about where center is. Put it down. Like so. And then we're going to open it up and we're going to take care of this piece. I need to clean my stamp. Let's just use I used crushed curry to put it on the inside just because I thought it gave, again, kind of a similar color. It's just a little darker than Bumblebee. I'm going to ink up my sunflower. And I'm going to put it just a little higher and over to this left side so it'll hide underneath that flap. Like so. Out of the way, and then I can detach this on the inside. And I thought this Let's Celebrate You would make a great birthday card. And so I'm going to wait to put my greeting in there, but it'll be ready for when I want to add my greeting. And so I'm just going to center this piece of white on the inside. And then it'll give a nice white border that goes around my image. And so then the last thing I have is to add some embellishments. And I have the Bumblebee color of the In Color enamel dots. And I'm just going to add 3 of them. So I'm going to push with my pickup tool. I'm going to stick one over here. In fact, that's perfect because I had a little blemish there. I'm going to do 2 more. You always want to do at least 3 or at least odd numbers. So I'm going to put one, let's put one here. And push one more, and it kind of adds my last little thing that I want to do. Let's come over this way, like so. And that will do for my simple Z-fold card. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you want to place an order during the month of June, if you would use this host code, and you may make your order if you don't have a demonstrator at justalittleinc.stampinup.net. Hope to see you soon. Comment on my video and subscribe if you get a chance. Thanks so much.